Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry for that squeak, but if you didn't see last week's video, my voice is back. I'm very excited, and hopefully things will sound a lot better from here on out. I worked really hard on my vocal therapy so that I would be able to talk to you guys for today's video. As you can probably tell from my hands, I have very dry skin, and so I wanted to talk about the tricks and tips that I use to hydrate my skin before I apply makeup. Specifically, how to get your makeup to last longer without looking dry. Sometimes it can really be hard to balance hydration with actually getting your makeup to last. So I wanted to talk about some of the products I use, some of the techniques I use, and some of the tricks that I've found over the years that get my makeup to last longer without breaking down from any oils in my skincare. I don't know about where you guys live, but it's definitely been getting drier around here lately, which makes it really hard to get the right balance of long lasting without those nasty flaky pieces that come with having dry skin. So let's talk about some of the products and techniques that I've been using. The first thing I wanted to talk about that's been a major game changer for me is a combination of this Anua Heartleaf 77 Hyaluronic Acid Toner with dry cotton pads. I know this doesn't seem like it would be the most game-changing product ever, especially considering that this has been viral and a staple in my skincare routine for years now. However, I bought these dry cotton pads from Philly Millie a while back during their Hello Kitty summer sale at Olive Young, and I've found that these have been really helpful. Finding a cotton pad that's not too soft but also not too rough is a great way to exfoliate in the morning to get rid of any dry patches that might have occurred overnight. It's also a great way to get rid of any oils that might have existed in your nighttime skincare routine, since oils tend to break down makeup faster. As you can see, these are really fine. They're so thin you can almost see my skin through them, and I either rub to gently exfoliate any dry skin, or I'll soak the pad and I'll actually stick it to my face if I feel like I'm really lacking moisture. It's a great way to do a little skincare mask without actually committing to a full mask. These Philly Millie pads are designed to be able to pre-drench them so that you don't have to worry about applying extra product in the morning, but I like to keep them dry just in case I want to use any other products with these pads. Of course, you can use any exfoliating product you want in the morning, but in my experience, it's best to avoid actually exfoliating since it might cause dry patches to come up later. Now, let's talk about a moisturizing product that I don't use in the morning. This spray from Daiba actually works really well for me, as you can tell from the fact that I have almost nothing left, but this is a biphase spray, meaning that there's an oil layer on the top and another liquid layer on the bottom. You're supposed to shake it up and spray, but I've found that the oils in this tend to break down my makeup faster, so while it's a tempting, fast fix, I've found that it actually is not helpful for my makeup throughout the day. Now, let's talk serums. As I've been emphasizing throughout the video, anything oil-based can tend to break up your makeup faster, even if it does feel hydrating, so I try to stick to something water-based. This Torrid Dive-In Serum is a hyaluronic acid water-based serum, so not only does it absorb really well, but it also keeps my makeup from breaking down throughout the day while providing a good boost of hydration. If you have super dry skin, you might want to try a little bit of a thicker serum or try applying multiple layers to make sure that your skin stays hydrated. The key here is to make sure that you're giving each layer adequate time to absorb into your skin before applying something else on top. You don't want to end up with a weird cocktail of products that doesn't mix well. However, the thing to note here about hyaluronic acid is it's what's called a humectant. It's not naturally moisturizing on its own, but it does draw in water from the surrounding environment. That means that if you live in a dry climate, you definitely want to use hyaluronic acid in conjunction with some other water-based moisturizer. Otherwise, the hyaluronic acid might have the opposite effect from what you want and actually draw moisture out of the deeper layers of your skin. So something like this Beauty of Chosun Red Bean Water Gel is a great option to give your skin the water that it needs to stay moisturized without being super greasy or heavy. We are applying a decent number of layers here, and the last thing we want is to make a base that's so greasy and slippy that our makeup just won't stay on. Another thing that I've found helpful is the way that I actually apply my products. I will rub just to spread the product out on my skin, but after that I pat it in. That way I don't disturb any dry flakes and I help my skin to absorb the moisturizer without irritating it. Don't forget, combine your hyaluronic acid with a good water-based moisturizer. Now, if I'm really crunched for time and I don't feel like I have time to let all of these different layers absorb adequately, my one cheat code is to just use the Dr. Althea 345 cream. This is not anywhere near as thick as the 147 cream, which is more of a nighttime moisturizer for me, but during the day, this one is a game changer. It's super lightweight and doesn't leave any sort of greasy cast, but still makes my skin feel really hydrated. And I found that the hydration from this one actually lasts a surprisingly long time throughout the day. You can see as I'm rubbing it in how quickly it absorbs and the fact that it doesn't leave any of that sort of glass skin effect. As gorgeous as that looks on social media, it's not really helpful before makeup because all it does is cause your makeup to slip around or break down from all of the oils. Although, if you're not wearing any makeup, I'm not gonna diss the glass skin look. What I'm trying to show here is how quickly that cream absorbs without leaving any sort of effect on the skin. It actually just goes straight in and doesn't leave any sort of layer on top. That's the goal with this skincare routine. You want your skin to feel like skin, but its best, most moisturized self. I have super sensitive skin, so I'm not a big fan of primers. I would rather just use my skincare routine, which is why all of these products are sensitive skin friendly. Now let's talk about sunscreen. You always should wear sunscreen no matter what season it is, even if it's snowing, because snow reflects the sun back onto your skin. This first product is from Cell Fusion C. It's their Skin Fit sunscreen. This one's actually a mineral sunscreen, so if you tend to have sensitivities to chemical sunscreens, this one might work for you. However, it does leave a little bit of a white cast, as most mineral sunscreens do, so if you have darker skin, this one might not work out for you. However, in my experience, I've found that this one is actually super great for no makeup days where I just want that glass skin look. The key here again is to smooth the sunscreen out over your skin at first and then pat it in. Because of that white mineral base, it can occasionally pick up on dry patches that are left over, so I try to pat it in to avoid disturbing any dry patches on my skin. Because it does provide a little bit of a pigmented base on pale skin, I find that this one masks any redness really nicely and also provides a little bit of a sheen. I don't tend to wear this one under makeup as much because it does have a little bit of that oil base to it. So if I am going to wear makeup, I'm using this Beauty of Joseon Release Sun Rice and B5 sunscreen. If you're an OG on this channel or you've seen any of my empties videos, then you know that I reliably go through one tube of this about every couple of months or so. That's how frequently I use it. I find it super hydrating, it doesn't irritate my skin, which is a problem I've had with so many sunscreens, and it absorbs super nicely. It provides a little bit of moisture left over, but I don't find that it disrupts my makeup at all. It's one of my favorite sunscreens of all time, if not my favorite sunscreen of all time, and I find that it's perfect no matter what season, but especially for winter when my skin is dry. This is the sunscreen that I'm usually heading for. I did a little comparison here between the two sunscreens. It's actually not showing up too well in this light, but my right hand is a little bit more glowy than my left. Next, I wanted to do a little talk about base products. I know I said that this video was going to be focused on skincare, but actually I do want to talk about the tricks that I use with different foundation types. Something like this Shiseido Revitalescence Skin Glow Foundation seems like it might be a really good choice for winter. And it is, if you don't want your makeup to last hours and hours. Something like the long wearing foundation from 2AN is actually going to be a much better choice if you want long wear. It seems a little bit contradictory because this is a more matte foundation. However, if you're looking for long wear, something that's more matte and full coverage is going to allow you to use less product. It depends on the effect that you're going for. Experiment. Try both finishes out. You never know which one you're going to like better. Now let's do a quick talk about tools. I usually don't talk about makeup tools on my channel very much, but I find this one is very helpful. A wet sponge like a beauty blender or a wet puff is gonna be your best option for dry skin. Allowing you to actually pat the foundation into the skin rather than rubbing is definitely gonna be your number one best bet, and the puff adds a little bit of hydration since it's already wet. Something like a spatula, which requires you to scrape over your skin, is gonna lift dry patches, and in my experience, just doesn't work that well if you have flaky, dry skin. Same is true for a dense brush like this one from the Serums. If you're gonna go for a brush, I would say choose one that you can pat into the skin rather than one that requires you to rub it across your face for the exact same reason. You don't want to lift any dry patches. In my opinion though, the sponge is just the winner. Lastly, let's talk about finishing off your makeup. I think the gold standard for dry skin tends to be setting mists. This Make Keep Mist from Kose is a bestseller for a reason. It has a really nice fine mist, and it's also a biphase product that you shake. I'm not sure what the two different substances are, whether one is oil-based and one is water-based, but regardless, I found that this one sets my makeup really well, as you can tell from the fact that the bottle is again almost empty. Here's what it looks like shaken up. There's a little bit of bubbling, but I don't find that the bubbles affect the mister at all. If you're gonna use powder, I would say use it very, very sparingly. Something like the Jeongseonmul powder, although this one is pretty expensive, tends to work really well because it's super, super fine. I only set areas that I know crease throughout the day, like under my eyes, and then I use the setting mist on top. Together, this is a winning longwear combo. Use a fine powder and use it sparingly. That's my best advice. Lastly, I want to talk about a product that everybody and their mom seems to have tried already except me, and I've found that it actually is so effective. Where I live, we get a lot of snow and rain and wind, and it makes my eyes water so bad. Even with a long-wearing eyeliner or mascara, sometimes I do get a little bit of smearing. This product, however, if you apply it on top of your eyeliner or your mascara very sparingly, it makes it bulletproof. I don't know what's in this stuff, and I'm a little bit afraid to ask, but it makes it so that my eye makeup does not budge no matter how much my eyes are watering. Seriously, this magic sealer, maybe it really is magic. This is not just a winter product. This one works great no matter the weather. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys being so patient with my voice, and I'm really glad that it's back. Hopefully it's back to stay this time. Thanks for hanging out with me, and see you next time. Bye guys.